Well, though his top rival has not yet conceded the race, former federal prosecutor Dan Goldman has been declared the winner of the Democratic primary in New York's 10th congressional district.
And while we will appreciate and respect the democratic process and make sure that all the votes are counted, it is quite clear from the way that the results have come in that we have won.
Mr. Goldman defeated a crowded field of Democrats in a district that includes lower Manhattan, parts of Brooklyn. He joins us this morning in our studio. Daniel Goldman, nice to have you back. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel great. It was an incredible team effort. As a first-time candidate, I really relied so heavily on the folks on the campaign team, and we had an incredible staff and a whole slew of interns and volunteers who were out there, and I think it really made the difference.
Does it matter that not everybody has conceded to you this morning?
I don't think so. I hope to speak with all of them today.
Well, is that good sportsmanship?
Well, the AP only called it at almost 1 a.m., so we've got
It's almost 7:30 or 8 o'clock. What are you talking about?
Look, it was, it was a great, tight race with some really, really high-quality elected officials who were in the race as well, all of whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for and look forward to learning a lot from.
One person that dropped out of the race early, we know him well, Bill de Blasio, former mayor. You mentioned something interesting to us, is that he still got some votes, even though he was out of this race. What does that say to the politics of New York?
Well, it says to politics in general how much name ID matters. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Bill had, almost 100% name ID. I think it was, as a candidate, it was frustrating going around and talking to people, so many of whom had no idea that there was an election yesterday. Wow. And I think for our democratic process, we need to reform our elections to somehow figure out.
How can we do this better?
Oh, there are lots of ways we can do this better. I mean, there can be an incentive for people to vote.
Like what?
I don't know. I'd come up with something, a tax credit. Come up with something. I mean, the turnout
You're right.
is so bad.
It was terrible yesterday. It was 10% of all registered voters in New York.
Part of that was the unusual situation with redistricting.
Our idea was to throw away our taxpayer money like that. Early voting, 2 elections this summer. And I went yesterday, there was 1 person on the ballot. Congress, that was it.
No, I mean, this is unusual, but it also is representative of the problem that we generally have in this country where people don't go to the polls. You don't see that in other countries. Yeah. And it's too bad that, in a district of 770,000 people, which every district is, I think we had 65,000 total votes in our race yesterday.
Well, look, I know you're grateful for the people that went out to the polls and voted for you. Congratulations again. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you plan to do, because I think throughout this race, you kind of positioned yourself as a centrist, maybe really agreeing with our current mayor right now, that bail reform just keeps producing repeat offenders. Is that still what you believe?
No, I don't think I actually ever believed that. I think that, in politics, you get painted a sort of way by your opponents who are trying to win. The reality is that I share so many of the same progressive ideals and vision as my opponents do. And I look forward to working with them and with the rest of the people.
What does that mean exactly? How do you feel on bail reform? Does it need to be reformed?
So the bail reform, I believe broadly in criminal justice reform. I think we need to figure out a way to stop the repetitive recidivism that is going on in our city right now. And the state assembly the state legislature just changed the law in the most recent budget.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough, obviously. That's what the mayor's saying.
I understand, and other people, the governor and the legislators say differently.
Although the governor recently came out and put but it was so egregious, the crime, the governor stepped out of her lane and put the guy back in jail.
So this is what I want to truly understand. And as a former federal prosecutor who's also been involved in the criminal justice reform movement, I am really looking forward to working with the mayor, with the governor, with the state legislature, because we need to figure out where this lies. Is it an issue with bail reform? Is it an issue with prosecutors not seeking bail? Or is it an issue with the judges not not determining bail. And so it's not as simple. It's not so black and white that it is either or. We need to really dig in and figure out what the source is, and we've got to solve the problem.
What about the migrant situation right now? Because as you know, today we're going to get a big busload, probably the biggest busload ever, of migrants, asylum seekers in our area. We're a sanctuary city. But the bottom line is there's reports that it may cost the city over $300 million. Some of these asylum seekers are staying in hotel rooms that are going to cost $15,000 a month. Most New Yorkers who work here can't afford that.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
What do we do?
Look, it goes to so many of the different issues that we have, both in our immigration system, but also in our housing system here in the city. And one of the things that I really am looking forward to working with some of my opponents and others is figuring out a way that we can provide both more housing and better housing and more affordable housing.
Well,
So,
do we talk to President Biden and say we got to do something about the borders? I mean, what do we do?
well, I'm hopeful this will jog and spur some movement on actually pushing forward with broader immigration reform. We do need to secure the border, but we also have to give everybody their due process and their rights to seek asylum. One of the things I talked about on the campaign is we need to double the number of immigration judges we have to process all these asylum claims. And I would like for us to increase the number of visas and other lawful entry routes that we provide so that people don't feel like they have to come in illegally if they want to get in the country.
I like this idea of doubling the immigration judges. Instead of maybe hiring, I don't know, another 80,000 IRS tax agents, I think that would have been a better
Don't
way.
forget the guns.
I think that would have been a better way to spend your money, no?
Well, I think where it would come from and could come from is helping to reform ICE, which needs it. And so, I happen to support more funding for IRS agents. I think people who evade taxes and I charge tax fraud, I think that they are taking advantage of the system, and we need to have a level playing field where everybody is paying their taxes, especially large corporations. But we have to be thinking outside the box, and one of the things I want to do as a congressperson is to be creative, to be thinking outside the box. And ultimately, I think the big thing that I want to focus on is getting the results for the people who really need them. Focusing less on, what the utopian, perfect way of doing things is, and really trying to move the ball forward towards our goals, our common goals, our progressive goals that I really I'm excited to represent.
All right, Daniel Goldman, you heard it first here on Good Day New York, Democratic candidate for Congress and the 10th district, right?
Yes.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get more people out to vote in the fall.